Salted.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Intro. 3, 2, 1. Hello, podcast peoples. It's the people on a podcast. James is on
It's
a
your-
beanbag.
I'm on a beanbag.
He's on a beanbag. And we are missing Kyle Appleseed today.
We are.
He is actually on a super secret mission, not in the south of France.
He's in South Africa.
Is there any reason he's gone to South Africa, James?
It's far away. Family there. That's all
He's got family there, does he?
Family there.
Does he have? I thought he had family in Peterborough more than in the continent of Africa.
No, he's gone to Africa. Chatting to him last night on FaceTime.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
While he's on a super secret mission in South Africa.
Yeah. We're still buddies.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't spoken to him since he left.
Yes. He doesn't. I guess you're not friends, are you?
Oh, right, okay. Well, Kyle, if you're seeing this, don't bother coming back. You're uninvited from the podcast.
Right, so today's episode is the big discussion is, it's Southampton being relegated already.
Yeah, I think
still with 7 games to go.
Yeah, which honestly, the fact that that's the earliest relegation, it seems a little mental.
It is mad
to me.
Yeah,
that it's that we've gone past 30 games and that's the earliest someone's been relegated. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just seems like that's a bit late in the season.
It is quite late in the season, but also it's obviously evidently not at the same time.
Oh yeah, clearly. Clearly, I've been skewed.
It's
by
obviously
it.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've had people win the title before now.
I don't think so.
I'm sure Liverpool won it in March.
Not
they
with
were
7 games to go. I think there was 5 games to go though.
I think it was during COVID, wasn't it? So
yeah, so things were a bit closer together. There was no
mental,
international breaks, was there?
That's a good point.
I don't think.
Fucking who knows? It was a long time ago.
I can't remember. It's 5 years ago.
Who cares? Really, actually.
Yeah. No,
Not me. Evidently.
Not even Liverpool fans care anymore.
Not anymore. They're gonna have another league title this season. So fair play to them.
About time, innit?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I'll say nothing about league titles.
Can't talk.
No.
Neither of us can talk.
We'll shut the fuck up.
It's one of them. They've got 10 points. The lowest a team has ever scored. In the Prem is 11.
It's officially. I think officially they have recorded the least amount of points and been relegated, like confirmed relegated.
Yeah.
But the record is 11 points set by Derby.
11. So unless they lose every single game from now on.
I mean, they've lost pretty much every game up until now.
Oh, there is that. Yeah, they're 10 points.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know who they've... Let me have a look. James, as you can see, is on his beanbag. So...
Yeah, my PC is all the way over there.
Let me have a look
at the moment looking at myself twice and Ciaran. So, I just thought I'd mix it up today in a beanbag because why not? And it feels a bit more natural. I get to hold the mic. So.
Okay, I don't think they're getting a point. I'll be real.
Actually,
no, they might get a point. They have Villa.
Not a chance.
Then they have West Ham.
Not a chance.
I mean, there might be a chance.
Actually, maybe a chance.
Yeah. Then they've got Fulham, but I don't see them getting anything from Fulham.
I don't see them getting anything from
Then
Fulham.
they have
either.
Leicester. Leicester are shit, but...
Leicester's the only other one that they have a chance of getting a point in. If they get a win, then hey-ho, but...
Yeah, then they have City.
They're not a chance if they're going to win that. Or even
then they have Everton at Goodison, which, by the looks of it, might be the last game played at Goodison. So...
Right, okay.
I don't know. I reckon you could send
They're going to want to go out with the bang.
I reckon you could send any team to Goodison on that day, and they're getting peppered. And then they have Arsenal.
I don't see them doing that well.
Then they have Arsenal on the final day. So.
Right. Okay. So no chance. Then is what you're saying.
They might pick up a point. The issue that they're having is they're either trying to play like the big 6 teams, or maybe not even necessarily the big 6 teams, but they're trying to play
better teams.
Yeah, they're trying to play like a proper established Premier League side that are pushing for Europe. That's not what they are. Or they're doing what Burnley did last season under Company and they're just not changing the way they play.
Yeah, they're refusing. They're coming and going, this is how we're going to play.
No
and that's
adaptation
it.
at all.
It's a one-way system, and that's it.
And it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And if you are going to work, then you have to not be in a relegation zone.
That's exactly what it is.
Like,
you can be,
for example, like for us, like with us, like okay, as people want to, like people like to make the joke that we're going to get relegated. We are only 13th. Like it's not that bad. We are awful, but we're not relegation zone bad.
No.
So we can technically afford, because we have a better team naturally than these teams. We can afford to stick to one system and try and get it that.
I mean, it's exactly the same with West Ham and Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why we're all in the position we're in, because we need a massive change. We can afford to make that change because we're established Premier League clubs. I mean, we've been playing in Europe for the last 3 years. It's the first time and even then we kind of barely missed out on it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. We look like, I'm happy to say it's one of the favourites to win the Europa League.
Yeah.
We actually look really good in the Europa League.
Yeah.
God knows why, because we come in the Premier League and look like absolute dog shit. But we're actually playing okay in the Europa League.
Yeah, and I think there's just a refusal to change, and I think that also does it increases that idea. I mean, there is truth to it, obviously, but increases that like current idea that there's such this massive gap between the Championship and the Premier League, which in certain cases there are, and I guess you could use these bottom three coming up and going straight back down as evidence of that. But then when you do dive a bit deeper, Leicester have had stupid amount of financial issues. Teams have just failed coming back into the Premier League, which baffles me, because these are teams that have been in the Premier League for however long. Like, I don't understand why they've struggled so much to adapt.
Yeah, it seems to be from I don't know.
It all stems from their time in the Premier League with Southampton, Leicester, Sheffield United.
I don't know if it does. I think it's a complacency because they always, all of them did exactly the same thing where they absolutely storm the Championship.
Yeah.
So they come in with this massive idea that if they just do exactly the same thing that they did in the Championship, they're gonna do it well in the Prem, which isn't the case. The Prem is quicker. It's more technical. It's not as rough and tumble like the Championship is. The Championship is much more physical, where the Premier League is much more technical,
and even
than the Championship.
I mean, even like you'll see it in like when Sheffield United came up. I mean, fuck them, but when they came up, because their style was so different to what we've seen in the Prem previously to when they came up, that's how they ended up 7th the season they came up.
Because everyone's like, "Whoa, this isn't what we expected."
So there are definitely times when Championship football can take the Prem off guard.
100%.
I mean, Wolves did it. Wolves did it when they came up.
Yeah, I mean, look at Brentford this season. How many goals did they score within the first couple of minutes?
And we still
it was ridiculous, and that was playing.
Haven't found a way to fix that.
Yeah, and that was basically playing Championship football. That was literally kicking off, passing it, kicking it straight long, and scoring from it. They're still doing it.
They've been doing it against teams since they've come up. Look at how well Brighton have done. Look at fucking Newcastle since they came back up. Yeah, they've got the financial backing now, but they didn't.
Of course.
Villa.
I mean, the big one I think is obviously Nottingham Forest this season.
Yeah.
Every couple of years ago, though, so they bought, what was it, like 20 players or something ridiculous like that.
25.
And everyone was like, "What on earth?"
A whole new squad.
Was it that? Yeah. And everyone was like, "What on earth are they doing? And this is ridiculous."
Clearly, they did the right thing. They bought the correct
players.
But now
look, it worked.
Yeah,
100%. They bought loads. Some worked, some didn't. And now look, now they're third. City are 6th.
That's what I mean.
Like,
and
they've done something right.
And I mean, this is all kind of it's all giving people this idea that's incredibly reactionary. What a surprise from football fans online, and I'm bored of it. I'm bored of this argument because it pops up every few years, and it's so pathetic. Just because their team isn't doing well, that the Prem is boring now. Well, because Liverpool have run away with it.
it's so
and the
far
same
from
three
boring
teams.
just because we've got a winner.
That's
Like
who and
this,
even then, Liverpool, use your eyes when it comes to this. Liverpool got knocked out of the FA Cup by Plymouth Argyle. They got
yeah.
shat on in the Champions League by PSG, and if that PSG front three could finish, it would have been a
Oh my
horrific
God.
scoreline across both
It
legs.
would have been
It would have been
horrific,
horrific, bro.
6-7. Yeah,
For real.
absolutely
They
vile.
got shown levels at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final by Newcastle. Newcastle won the
Oh
Carabao
yeah,
Cup, and this season
yeah,
shit apparently. What?
yeah. Yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
just
Like the amount of stuff you look at the table from last season to this season, where people are, it's all over the
that's what
place.
I'm saying. And don't
Like
get me
there are
wrong,
there are,
the quality on show is shit,
yeah, but
but
that's football.
that's
That's the best of
that's it.
football.
That is football. You're dead on. It goes that
I
way
don't need to. I don't
sometimes.
need to watch. I don't need to watch Champions League football every week. I want
No,
to watch
bro.
English football. I want to watch people smashing into each other, kicking it long, just
Facts.
going for shit, and just
Facts.
absolutely just being daring. I mean,
Genuinely.
that's what so many teams are missing is taking a chance. Just go. This probably isn't going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I think
And that's how we. That's why we get no. It's how we hardly get wonder goals anymore either, because players are they're taught. No, don't do that. Don't shoot from 35 yards out. Don't
yeah,
do that. That's ridiculous. You're never going
yeah.
to score that.
I mean,
Don't try
there
that
is
ridiculous thing because you're never going to do it.
for real.
But that's why we get some of the yeah.
There is this added addition that is so prevalent when people talk about the Premier League, but for some reason, when we talk about whether the Prem's been boring or the Prem is failing or the Prem's washed or whatever conversation you want to have, it's such a prevalent topic is PGMOL, the officials in VAR. And yet for some reason, when it comes to the football being shit, that's never mentioned. That is like
No.
one of the biggest reasons it's shit. Because teams,
Yeah, it's one of the biggest
every
reasons things are
single
awful.
team is getting shafted. Every single team, at least 5 points in a season, is getting shafted by how bad the officials are. Or we're getting
Yeah,
10, 15
it,
apologies a season from PGMOL because they've made a mistake. That's what you brought VAR in
it's
for,
because
to not make these mistakes.
we've got this kind of, and I understand the logic behind it, saying we're only going to use English referees because I get it. You want to bring the referees up from lower, and you kind of want to. No other country does it.
No.
Countries use the best. We need to be using just you. You know when the Champions League's on, it's always the English referees that make the worst mistakes
That's exactly
in those
what it
games.
is. I
Always.
love watching the Champions League for the refs. Until we get an English ref in there, then I'm like, well, this game's shit.
Yeah, and then they make the most ridiculous calls. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think some of the rules need to change in the Champions League and in Europe.
Yeah.
I think that the handball rule is the big one that needs to change. And I think we actually, although our refs are awful, the handball rule in England's actually quite good.
When it's
not
done properly.
When it's done
absolutely.
properly. Yeah, when it's done properly, it's actually really quite good. You know, it's not just in Europe. It hits your hand. It's a foul. Doesn't matter how, when, what.
To be fair, in some ways, that's why Europe is so better because it's consistent. Like if the ball hits your hand in the box, that's a pen. Doesn't matter why your hand was there. Doesn't matter how close. That's a pen. And I don't necessarily agree with that rule because I mean you're playing football. Hands go everywhere. You fall over sometimes. You get pushed. Shit happens. But there is that consistency.
Someone heads a ball this far away from you.
What are you supposed to do? Hands. Yeah, like your arms could be here,
and someone hits it.
Yeah, that's a pen. Which is just silly. But there is that consistency there, and the big thing that English refs have been missing for a long time now is consistency. Like we'll see.
Oh, massive!
We'll see a challenge in. I don't know. The one that I will always remember, because it's like the first big one I saw was I think it was an Andy Robertson challenge. He like absolutely went in on someone, like stamped on his ankle, no booking, not even a foul. And this was, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago, but it's the one I remember.
Yeah.
Then there was a Harry Maguire challenge, did exactly the same
Yeah.
thing. Was
Red
a foul,
card.
and I think that was just a booking, that one. But then it was
It was straight
Aubameyang
red.
did the same, and Aubameyang got sent off.
Oh, and he got the straight red.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's not
And
even
it
like
was
these
like
things happened like at the exact same time where you can say, all right, fair enough. It was the Robertson challenge when you said, when we could say that's definitely a foul, definitely yellow. Then it was a Harry Maguire challenge, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. And then Aubameyang, after we've seen two of the exact same challenges, given different things, then Aubameyang just gets straight up sent off for it. And it's like, how does that work? And there's also the idea that you can retroactively take away a red card, but you can't retroactively give a red card, which I think is silly.
Yeah,
I don't want a
like,
fucking apology, like James Tarkowski in the Merseyside derby, who was then pivotal in their draw against Arsenal, which is massive for both teams there. How can he do
should
that?
have been sent off.
Can get like immediately, like almost straight after the game, PGMO were like, sorry, that very clearly should have been a red. And then he is fucking key man in the next game. They get to an important point, and Arsenal drop important points. That is not fair to not just... You don't apologise, give him the red. It's a different thing if it's a penalty.
We made a mistake. That is a red.
Yeah. So we're going to give him a red.
2-match ban or whatever, or 3-match ban.
It's a different if it's a
where,
pen.
Just
right?
like if someone gets a red and it's not a red,
you can take the red away.
Like, you can
so
give
it. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Give a retroactive red if you have to. Like penalties is, I get penalties. You can't go back and give a pen. You can't do that.
No.
You have to apologise for a pen or a foul that should have been given that wasn't, that then led to a goal or a handball they missed. I can understand that because you can't give that retroactively. But a red card, if you can take it away, which I don't know if you should. I don't know if they should be doing that anyway.
Neither do I, but they're making so many mistakes. They've not given themselves a choice.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. In the same way, because they've made so many apologies, sorry, that should have been a red.
I mean, the one that always comes back to is the Spurs game with Bruno Fernandes. Everyone knew it wasn't a red. Everyone. Like, it wasn't just United fans. It was, there was literally every fan across football was going, yeah, sorry, mate, they fucked that up. That's not a red. Like, and it wasn't, and everyone knew it wasn't. Maddison on the pitch was even saying, yeah, mate, that's not a red. Or anything. And it's that same thing. But then 2 days later, someone does exactly the same thing and doesn't get anything. Nothing happens to them. It's just I don't know how we've gotten to talking about how awful referees are.
Well, it's because of why the Prem's boring now. And that gap between
we don't know what's going on when. Like, things change so like the referees don't know. It almost feels like the referees don't understand what's going on.
For real.
I think one of the biggest reasons that referees get so much wrong in the game is because so many of them haven't played the game. If you look at the referees who have played and then become referees, they are much, much, much more consistent because they understand and their games flow better and everything flows a lot better. They understand everything because they understand the game. They understand how it's supposed to be played. It's the referees that haven't played. They've just been referees.
Yeah.
They're the ones that make the biggest mistake. Okay.
Yeah, like we saw it with David Coote, I think most recently, who obviously ended up losing his job for it. We've seen it a few other times where referees will go to games as a fan. And I'm not saying that you can't support a team if you're a ref, because you're in the game. You obviously enjoy football. It's gonna happen, but the fact that you're not like fucking Jesus Christ. You're not like forced to announce and declare your allegiances or teams that you're soft for or whatever, and these same refs are being put in charge of these games like on a regular basis. Like for me,
Yeah.
I could never, ever, ever, I couldn't ref a West Ham game, obviously. I couldn't ref a Liverpool game. I couldn't ref a United game. I couldn't ref a Chelsea game. I couldn't ref an Arsenal game.
Definitely not.
And this isn't... Some of this stuff is perfectly valid,
I mean, I
right?
could,
but then it's also just my personal bias.
Half the Premier League.
That's what I'm saying. And it's fair enough for me. You should be able to say that. They should have enough refs. If you've got 10 refs, right? If you have 10 Premier League referees, that's one a game, right? That's obviously not enough. Because I could easily ref Palace Brighton. Easily. But then
I don't care.
Chelsea Fulham, I'm gonna favour Fulham. I just am.
Yeah.
But then say if I do favour Fulham a bit more in that game, let's say Fulham play Brighton the next week. Because I favoured Fulham, I'm then naturally gonna not favour Fulham against Brighton, and then you just get stuck in this little shitty cycle because they're trying to overcompensate for their own personal biases, which is making them even more biased in situations, and they're just afraid to admit they've made a mistake. If you can stop a game for 7 minutes to look at VAR, stop a game straight after and say, or not even straight after, just stop it and say, I've made a mistake there. Like, that's my bad. That should have been a foul back then. So we need to stop playing now.
Yeah, it's the lack of accountability.
Absolutely.
For the referees, which is one of the biggest issues. Is there's no accountability. They just go, well, and then PGMOL, whatever they're fucking called.
Yeah.
They take the hit and go, yeah, look, our referee made a mistake. We're really, really sorry, and that's the last we hear of it. Like, unless they start fucking up loads, then obviously, what do? Send them to the Championship for a couple of weeks and just, basically sitting them on the naughty step.
Yeah.
It's basically going, go sit on the naughty step, and we'll bring you back in a couple of weeks when you've learned your lesson. It's ridiculous. That's not how it should work.
Is it Mark Cooper? Is that his name? I think that might be his name.
Yeah.
He fucked up once or twice, so they sent him down to the Championship. I think he was supposed to do 10 games in the Championship before he came back up. Because other refs were fucking up, instead of just finding other refs, they brought him back like 4 games early, and in his first game back, he made a massive mistake. You can't...
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of the...
Eventually, apologies don't cut it, bro.
Last year, the year before, they brought in a ref who used to be a rugby referee. One of the best referees in the league.
And this is the thing. When I don't know what ref you're talking about, that's a fucking good thing. I shouldn't know who the ref is. You should never know who a ref is. If I know a ref's name, fuck
you're there to referee a game. You're not a personality. Referee the game.
Thanks, bro.
Don't do anything else. Just referee the game. You're not a personality on the pitch. You're the guy to tell You're the one to tell the talent and the personalities that they've done something wrong. Sit down, shut up, and only speak when you're supposed to.
I mean, it's literally...
Stop making it about you. You become a referee because you're not good enough. You're not good enough at football. You didn't want to play. Stop trying to get into the big stage.
Facts.
Simple.
Facts. I mean, it's even getting to a point now where
I don't go to the tennis and start with other people.
Literally, it's getting to a point now where I know certain linesmen by looking at them. Don't know their names, but I'll look at them and I'll say, "You're gonna fuck you up today." The refs have just been so fucking stinky. They've been so stinky.
They've been awful.
That's what's ruining the Prem. And again, and I mean, also there's bare teams that are in a rebuild. A lot of the bigger teams are in rebuilds, which is allowing for smaller clubs to make their way up. Look at Forest is obviously the main one. Look how well Brighton have done. Newcastle, Villa. I mean, even West Ham a few years ago, not recently because we're shit, but we'll be back there soon. Brentford have been so stable. Palace, Bournemouth, AFC, Bournemouth are incredible right now. Like,
they look really good.
And what, the Prem's shit because Liverpool won it? Is that what it is? Because Liverpool have won it? Or because we don't have a definitive title race? The Prem's been shit for the last 10 years, despite the fact every other year we've had an insane title race. This is the first season it's a bit poo.
Yeah, the last 2 years we've had Arsenal right up City's arse, and now it's and again,
before that it was
obviously
City
the last
Liverpool.
But now Arsenal aren't doing that well. City have completely fallen off. Nottingham Forest are up there, but Liverpool are doing really well. They're obviously on the bounce of having a new manager.
And all of a sudden it's shit now.
And it's shit, and it's like, well, no, someone's just winning.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? What do you want? Just no one to win it.
And it's
Do you want just no one to ever win the Premier League? We just play football.
Genuinely.
300, we'll just play football every day of every year, and that's it. There's never going to be a winner. They're just good games. No, because that's pointless.
I tell you what, this really, really does for me is there's the recency bias has always been a thing in football, right? Always.
Yeah.
But before, it was like recency bias, as in the last 10 years, or
Yeah, of course.
and then eventually it, cut down to the last 5 years, right? But now it seems that recency bias is like immediate. It's like last season. Like, I mean, look at Phil Foden. The shit he was literally the best player in the league by a fucking mile last season, and now all of a sudden he's not fit enough to wear the England top. He shouldn't. City need to sell him. He's shit. He's awful.
Yeah.
Because one bad season, Erling Haaland doesn't score for 6 games, and all of a sudden he's washed. What?
Well, I mean, the poor guy's out for like 6 to 8 weeks or something, isn't he, with an injury right now? Like, he's obviously not been 100%. The man's still a machine.
Literally. And then again,
but it's like
the bias is still so silly because Arsenal are apparently still one of the best clubs in the world. They're still one of the best teams in the world. But they've had a bad season in comparison. English football in general has taken a hit this season.
Massively.
And now all of a sudden, English teams have never ever done anything in Europe. We've never ever been able to compete. Oh, because I had one poor season. Are you having a giggle?
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Fucking stupid, mate.
Yeah, I just don't understand it. I mean, I think this year is actually, as much as I've hated watching my team, it's been a really fun year of football. Like, because you actually, week in, week out, you almost can't predict the scores. You don't know who's going to win.
No.
Last year, even the year before that, if City came up against most people, you're going, they're going to batter, and this is going to be 4-0, 4-1, whatever. This year, you go, do you know what? I actually don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what City's going to turn up. Is it going to be the good one? Is it going to be the absolutely god-awful one? Yeah. And that's it's the same with most teams this year, which is why the points are much lower this year, even with Liverpool.
It's like, fucking God forbid a Premier League be a bit competitive. Fuck me.
Yeah.
How awful.
I know. How dare we have competitive football? Because that makes it boring. It doesn't make it boring. It makes it so exciting. You just need to not watch one team. Don't just watch your team.
Mate, watch
Obviously,
the Premier League
watch
or
your
shut
team.
the fuck
but don't
up.
just watch your team.
Yeah.
Because there are so many good games that are on. Sometimes I'll go. Last couple of years, I've gone, oh, it's those two teams. I can't be bothered watching that. That's just going to be that's going to be an awful game. This year, I've watched most games that I can because they're so exciting.
I always have. Like I'll catch every game I can because you really never know what you're gonna see because that's.
But this
football,
year,
right?
more I've watched some of the quote, in quotation marks, smaller clubs, teams because they've been more exciting. Like I've wanted to watch the Palaces, the Bournemouths, the Brentfords,
Bournemouth especially, bro. They've actually been incredible.
Even especially the Nottingham Forests, like their games are electric.
And they're
amazing at the moment because they're just so quick on that counter attack. Alanga is one of our biggest mistakes, I think. We sold him for 10 mil. And who was it? Someone came in from 50 mil to Nottingham Forest last year.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the. Yeah, I think the last point I want to make, I think, just on the state of fans in the Premier League or whatever,
Yeah.
I think it fits on quite well to what you're saying there with the smaller clubs that are performing well, and somehow that means that the Prem's shit, and it's just it's Big Six fans, no offense,
I don't think.
but it's
It is.
the Prem's shit. Why is it shit this season? What, because City aren't doing well, because Arsenal aren't doing as well as they probably should be doing, because United aren't doing well, because Chelsea
Well, the thing is,
aren't
I
doing
don't
too
think
well, because Spurs aren't doing
United fans
well.
this year aren't too. The United fans, I don't think, are moaning that much this year about the league. We're just moaning about our own team.
I mean, yeah, that's valid.
Because we don't really have a leg to stand
Yeah.
on. We can't say, haha, look at City, they're playing awful.
But that's what I mean.
We're 13th.
And that's part of the thing, though. It's
fun, don't get me wrong, and it's hilarious for us. But
of course.
we actually don't have a leg to stand on.
But it all comes from that kind of idea that the traditional Big Four or Big Six or traditional big clubs in general have this like divine right. They must be the top six every season, or it's shit. It's such a stupid,
which is just wrong.
Very, very wrong. And like,
yeah, you can say that your team is having a bad season.
Yeah, of course. But just because your team's shit doesn't mean the Prem's shit. It means your team's shit. That's what it means. And it's like there's also a lot of talk at the moment with Mark Gahey, obviously with the summer transfer window coming up, season coming to an end. Mark Gahey.
I see him going to a bigger club.
Well, see, he might do, but if he does go, it's going to be for stupid money, and that's what the conversation is. Like, well,
I think the
why
other one
aren't
that I can
Palace
see
selling
going...
him? Why the Palace don't want to sell him, bro? If you want him, you're going to have to pay stupid money. But then there's
it's going to be 50, 60 million, isn't it?
Yeah, potentially even 70, 80. Like, the guy's like a starter for England now.
One of the centre backs that I see going for not massive money, but going to a bigger club this year, and of course I'm going to say I do think it's going to be United that go in for him, is Jared Branthwaite.
Yeah.
It's not going to be because they're not going to get 60 mil for him, I don't think, but I think they might get 40, maybe 50 mil for him.
But this is the thing, right? That I think for some reason a lot of people it's probably, to be fair, it doesn't help the massive boost of just needless transfers and big clubs spending stupid amounts of money for no reason, especially Chelsea. Look at the stupid spending Chelsea have done. I mean, even United at times, you spent stupid money on players for no reason.
We spent stupid money on stupid players.
That's what I mean. And it's this idea that there's this this divine right that if a player is good, they have to play for a big club. Like Branthwaite, Everton don't need to sell Branthwaite, and if you want him, that's because United want him, and United are going to have to pay the money that Everton want, or they can fuck off. Respectfully, the same with Gahey.
Oh, massively, yeah.
If someone wants Gahey, they're going to have to pay the money.
And as a United fan, centre back isn't what we need right now.
Not at all.
We've got our left wing back with Dorgu, who has actually really impressed me recently.
He's decent.
He's been playing really well, and he's doing really well. We need a right wing back because Dalot is not a right wing back. He doesn't get forward enough. He just isn't good enough on the attack.
I love Dalot. Always have.
I love Dalot. I absolutely love him. He's just not the right profile for us. He might be. I think if we were to get a good right wing back, I think he could play a really solid right centre back, right on that right hand side. I think he could do a really good job. That he's just not a right wing back. He's not. He's not quick enough, and he's not good enough to get up and down as much as he needs to. If you look at the difference between him and Dorgu, it's massive.
Yeah.
We need another number 10.
Yeah.
We really need another number 10 striker. I'm really, as much as I think we do need one, I think if we sort the wing backs and the number 10s out, I think we could see Højlund slightly differently. The issue is he doesn't get the ball, like, at all.
Yeah.
He had, what was it? I think was it in yesterday's game against City? He had 12 touches all game.
Yeah, it's not really good enough.
12, and 8 of them were in the first half, that's one of them was in the box.
That is poor.
It's awful, but you look at his shooting stats. Actually, when he shoots, he scores the majority of the time he actually shoots.
Yeah, it's just he's not getting
just
the
doesn't
ball.
shoot because he doesn't get the ball, and it's awful. And he's getting a lot of slack for it. And sometimes some of it is his fault, some of it's his positioning, but a lot of it is it's just not getting the service. So I think we sort these out. I think actually he'll become better, but that's besides the point. That's a United episode that we can get onto.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it does kind of add into the idea that it's along the same kind of lines of this entitlement that if a player's good, he's got to go to a big club, or only big clubs should be doing well, only big clubs deserve to win trophies. And I mean, if we're being honest, it comes from online fans. It comes from kids who don't have a clue what they're talking about, or people that just want to sprinkle in their 2 cents for no reason. Like, they don't have a clue what they're talking about. I mean, sure, I guess you could make the argument that that's literally what we're doing with this podcast, but like this idea that football is such a one way thing, like best players have to go to big clubs, only big clubs can be successful because that's how it's been for so long, or whatever it is, or like a striker, you can look at stats of a striker and say, well, he's shit, isn't he? Without watching them play, without understanding the reasons behind why things are the way they are. There's such like a tunnel vision for nothing, the wrong things. It's like this I guess is a whole conversation in itself, and we've mentioned a couple of times about controversial eps. This is one of the takes I want to put on there. Like,
100%.
Salah is better than Hazard because Salah scores and assists more. And it's like, if that's the way you look at football, I feel so sorry for you.
Yeah, because it's so much more than numbers.
Yeah, because you clearly you don't know football. And if you think, I mean, it's Rory talks football, so it's not really anyone that we need to listen to because fuck that guy. But when he said,
there you go, call out side.
Hell yeah, bro, I'll fight him. When he went on pitch side and he said that Arsenal finishing second was a bigger achievement than Leicester winning the league.
Is it unbelievable?
What, because Arsenal were a big club, so therefore Arsenal having some kind of success automatically eradicates a smaller club having success. What? It's so stupid. Or the idea that like Liverpool reaching a Champions League final is a bigger deal than Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup this season. It might be a bigger achievement, like when you directly compare the two, but look at where Liverpool have been, look at where Newcastle are, and where Newcastle have been. And then there's like I'm so tired.
It's not even close.
Not remotely. Football is such a nuanced thing because shit changes 24/7. There's hundreds of millions of people that are affected by every single decision that happens in a game. People like, I couldn't give less of a shit about, I don't know, fucking Scunthorpe right? Can give less of a shit about Scunthorpe. But that doesn't mean there aren't people that don't care about Scunthorpe. There's probably not that many, to be fair, at Scunthorpe, but do you know what I mean? And it's like every loss, every Arsenal loss, every United loss that I celebrate, because fuck you guys, you celebrate as a United fan. Kyle celebrates as an Arsenal fan. And every time I mean, we know this because it happens all the time. Every time I make a shitty comment about one of your clubs, you'll give it straight back. Because that's football. Because sometimes we will get offended by what each other say. Because that's football. Do you know what I mean? It's people that don't understand football are speaking on football just because they have the internet. Like, if you're 13 years old, I don't want to hear your opinion on football.
No, because you don't know football.
You, at most, if you've been watching it your whole conscious life, at most you've been watching it for 6 years.
Yeah.
And your opinion on Ronaldinho
is irrelevant.
Like, I can't even sit and, like, we can barely sit and talk about players like Kaka and Ronaldinho.
Oh yeah, we hardly saw
barely
their careers. Like my nan to this day will say that George Best was the best football player to ever live because he's the best he's ever seen on a ball.
Yeah.
I can't say she's wrong because I wasn't alive. You know, I didn't see him play.
Facts.
I can just go, yeah, I've seen videos. Football was different then. Yeah. That's it. That's my only argument. Yeah. Football was different then. That's not an argument.
But if you're on the internet, you can say, yeah, well, actually, George Best, he's not even. He doesn't even have the same icon rating as R9, so R9's clearly better on FIFA. So clearly that's fact. I was like, well, actually, if you look at George Best's goal record compared to Ronaldo's goal record, George Best doesn't come close. It's a different game. They're different players, different times, different careers,
different pitches and different balls.
That's what I mean.
Have you seen the pitches that they played on when George Best played?
Yeah.
They were like grassroots pitches now.
Literally. I mean, they were worse.
They were awful.
And it's this...
like by half time, you couldn't see the centre circle, and the goalkeeper's 6-yard boxes were just dirt,
just a puddle,
like just mud, just puddles and mud and all sorts. Like honestly, God, that's how people played football then.
Honestly, and there probably is. It speaks a lot of the world right now, but we're not here to talk about the rest, like the whole world. But the point does apply everywhere. Everything has to be so definitive, and there has to be direct proof that backs up your opinion that isn't an opinion, because it has to be fact. Like, I will argue to the day I die that Hazard is better than Salah, and if you're someone that believes Salah's better, fair enough.
That's fine.
If you believe it's an opinion. If you believe he's better because he scores more goals, gets more assists, because you feel like he's a better player, fair enough. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. Yeah. I think Hazard's better for a multitude of reasons, and I can defend all them reasons. And I'm not wrong either.
Yeah, exactly. And like my opinion, that Manchester City is a small club.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. The fact is they don't fill out their stadium.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is.
And it's like and even then, to be fair, it's like people fail to admit that they have biases there. Like a big part of your opinion there is because you support Manchester United.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and you can sit and admit that's your bias.
Just like I hate Liverpool.
Yeah, that's your bias. You're allowed to have a bias without it being a negative thing. That's your opinion, bro.
Like I know Salah is. I mean,
Salah's
this
incredible.
season definitely. Salah's probably the best player in the Premier League this season.
He's phenomenal. Yeah.
I still hate him.
Yeah, I still think Hazard's better than him.
I still can not like him.
Honestly, and I genuinely believe that, say, I don't know, another one, you've got Bukayo Saka and Jared Bowen, while we're on wingers. Saka and Bowen. Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that there is not that much of a difference in quality between the two of them. And I think if you put Jared Bowen in that Arsenal team, he does the same Saka does. But if you put Saka in this West Ham side, he doesn't do nearly what Jared Bowen does. And I've got plenty of things. Agree. I've got plenty of things that can back that up. If that was a real conversation we was having, I've got plenty of things I can debate.
Controversial take.
There you go. Pod. I've got plenty of things I can debate that about. But I'm not going to sit here and say that there isn't a bias there, because there is. But that's also what makes it my opinion.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
An opinion,
right?
Really.
Well, I think that is a pretty good way to wrap this up.
Oh, how long have we been?
Like almost over an hour now, I think.
I've been recording for dead on an hour.
Well, there you go. I think that's a perfect time to leave it then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Right. Well.
There's that.
I mean, although you haven't been able to see me for half of this, I'm going to put some sort of funky picture of myself there.
Yes.
Because God knows what happened. My camera has just absolutely died on me.
I mean, this is the fact. It's use any viewers that we do have might be able to tell. This episode's been a little bit cursed. We've tried to record it 3.
This is our third time
now. Yeah, we've changed the idea 3 times. First time, the whole thing corrupted. The second time, Kyle's PC had to be taken away because the FBI needed his hard drives. It's to do with his secret mission. Nothing else. He's not a nonce.
Yeah, he's definitely not. It's no.
No, he just had illegal. He had confidential files on there, but not of the child pornography kind.
Yeah, I know. That's getting cut off.
No,
that's going to be a beep. It's going to be a beep.
Yeah, it can beep child pornography.
Yeah, please stop saying it. You're making me more work.
I mean, even now.
Got to do this tomorrow, basically.
Yeah, James.
It's going out on Wednesday, this episode, by the way.
As long as it's out, I'm not bothered. But yeah, it's been a mess. We finally got here. How much of this is legible waffle? Don't know.
Who knows?
However, that's what we do. We waffle.
It's going to be our luck that this entire thing's corrupted, but we'll see. If you're watching and listening to this,
congratulations.
Then it didn't corrupt.
Congratulations.
You've won.
Yeah, and we can finally, hopefully, go back to getting out of regular weekly eps. But we shall also see how that goes.
Because
damn.
Life is mental and nothing wants to work ever.
That is correct.
So,
I don't want to work.
Everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the BallBoys podcast.
The balls are boys. The ball bellions.
The
beanbag ball. The ball bag bean boys.
The Ballchester Manchester Ball United.
The ball bags boys.
The bean ball bags.
Flick your bean your ball bags. Flick your ball bags.
Anyway,
podcast.
This has been us. We will
Ciaran
see
and James
you next week. Good.
Okay, cool.